Hello and welcome. Find a comfortable place and let your mind drift away to a small town named Maplewood, a place where life is slow and the houses have stories to tell. Our story is about a woman named Sarah. Sarah was a writer who needed quiet. She moved from the busy city to a small old house in Maplewood. The house was lonely, but it had a kind feeling. On her first day, as rain tapped softly on the roof, Sarah decided to explore the attic. It was filled with old things covered in dust. And there, under a small window, she found a box. It was an old wooden box with a name carved on it, Daniel. Sarah opened the box. Inside, she found not jewels or money, but letters. Dozens of handwritten letters, tied with a blue ribbon. She opened the first one. It began, "My dearest Anna." That night, Sarah read the letters by the light of a small lamp. The letters told a love story, a story of a young man named Daniel and a woman named Anna. They wrote about their dreams. They wrote about meeting secretly by the old lake outside town. They wrote about their love, a love that was simple but deep. In every letter, Daniel promised Anna one thing, that he would build a home for them, right here in Maplewood. He would carve their names on a tree by the lake, so their love would last forever. Sarah felt her heart ache. The letters were so full of love and hope, but the last letter was different. It was from Daniel. He wrote, "My Anna, I have to go away for a while, but wait for me. I will come back for you, I promise. Look for me in the first snow." And then the letter stopped. There were no more. Sarah wondered, what happened? Did Daniel come back? Did Anna wait for him? She had to know. The next day, Sarah went to the old lake from the letters. She walked along the shore, her heart beating fast. And then she saw it. A very old, large oak tree, and on its trunk, faded by time, were two carved names, Daniel and Anna. Sarah felt a connection to these two souls. She started asking people in the town about Daniel and Anna, but Maplewood was a new town to her, and she didn't know anyone. One afternoon, she went to the small town library. She asked the old librarian if she knew anything. The librarian smiled a sad smile. "That was a long time ago," she said. "Not many remember." But she wouldn't say more. Feeling a little lost, Sarah went to a small coffee shop. She sat in a corner, thinking about the letters. A man who owned the coffee shop noticed she looked sad. His name was Ben. He was kind and had a gentle voice. He brought her a free cup of coffee. "You look like you carry the world's problems," he said. Sarah smiled for the first time in days. She told him about the letters, about Daniel and Anna. Ben listened quietly. He didn't laugh. He just said, "Some stories don't like to be finished too quickly." As the days passed, Sarah and Ben became friends. They would meet at the coffee shop. They walked to the lake together. They looked at the carved names. Being with Ben felt easy and warm. It felt familiar, like she had known him for a long time. Sometimes she would catch him looking at her with a deep, thoughtful look, as if he wanted to tell her something. One evening, Sarah was in the attic again. She looked inside the old box one more time, and there, tucked in a corner she had missed, was one last letter. It was not with the others. This one was newer. Her hands shook as she opened it. It was from Anna. She wrote, "My dear Daniel never came back, but he sent this one last letter. I never opened it. My heart was too broken. To whoever finds this, please know that our love was real. It lives in this house. It lives in this town." With the letter was another sealed envelope. It was the last letter from Daniel to Anna. It was still sealed shut. For over 50 years, no one had read it. Sarah held it in her hands. She felt the weight of it. This letter held the answer. Why did Daniel not come back? What happened to him? That night, she met Ben at the lake. The moon was bright. She showed him the sealed letter. I don't know if I should open it, she said. Some secrets should maybe stay secrets. Ben held her hand. His hand was warm. Sarah, he said, his voice very soft. My grandfather's name was Daniel. Sarah looked at Ben, her eyes wide with surprise. Ben, Daniel's grandson. The mystery was now part of her own life. Ben looked into her eyes, his own filled with an old sadness. My family never talked about it, he whispered. It was too painful. But I think you were meant to find those letters. Sarah looked down at the sealed letter in her hand. Then she looked at Ben. Here was the past and the present together. Did she open the letter and learn the painful truth? Or did she leave the past alone and start a new story with Ben? She squeezed his hand. The first snow of the season began to fall, just like in Daniel's last letter. Soft, quiet flakes landing on their hair and shoulder